So you're thinking about moving to the Space Coast. Maybe it's Melbourne, Rockledge, Satellite Beach, Cocoa Beach, wherever it may be in the Space Coast. This is the video you want to watch because today we are going to go over things that you need to know to make a smart move to the Space Coast. Once upon a time, I was in your shoes. I was making the decision whether we were going to move to the Space Coast or not, and all I knew is I just wanted to live somewhere with warmer weather. I was so tired of the cold winters in Rhode Island, so tired of shoveling, so tired of being cold and just eating my way through winters and not having anything to do and all of that. So that's how I ended up here in the Space Coast. If you're like me and you are going to be making the move or considering making the move, you found a great resource. I have a whole channel built just for you to help you understand where might be the best place that fits for you, information, the pros and cons. But today I'm going to throw all of that information into this video so you can make a smart move to the Space Coast. If you're new here, my name is Rachel Langley. I'm a real estate agent here in the Space Coast. And like I said, I moved here a few years ago. I absolutely love living here and I love helping people make the move here because it's just such an awesome place to live. So if you are considering moving to the area or already are, make sure you reach out. My information is on the screen right here. So let's get started. So first of all, what are the main reasons to move to the Space Coast? I mean, one of the main reasons that, of course, a lot of my clients are moving here for is for work. And I'm going to get into the top employers in a little bit. But if you're not just moving here for work, maybe you're just thinking about moving here for the fact that you want to move somewhere new. Here are some really great reasons to move here. We have endless sunshine year round. It's actually funny, it's winter time here, which is pretty warm. It's been a little bit chilly. When I say chilly, it's usually, high 60s to mid 70s here. But we actually had rain and thunder and lightning today, which is very, very odd for the winter time. But for the most part, besides today, it is mostly, we are in our winter season, so it's not too rainy. It's going to be pretty mild. It's going to be about 75 for the rest of the winter season, which is wonderful. So if you are tired of those cold winters like I was, this place is absolutely perfect for that. I mean, of course, Florida in general is perfect for that, but of course there's other reasons. So we've got the beautiful beaches. We've got Cocoa Beach, Satellite Beach, Melbourne Beach, Indian Harbor Beach. All of the beaches and Titusville as well are absolutely stunning. We have miles and miles and miles of beaches. And of course, we have the rocket launches, what we are known for, why we are called the Space Coast. We've got Kennedy Space Center. We've got SpaceX, Blue Origin. We've got some awesome attractions going on here when it comes to the space industry. I have people that have moved here after retirement just because they absolutely love the idea of watching launches all the time and just love space history. So we've got all of that going on today. So let's talk about the steps to relocating. One of the first steps is going to be figuring out what is the best place for you to live. Do you like living close to the beach? Do you like being in the suburbs? Do you like a master plan community where you can drive your golf cart to restaurants, to shopping, to the grocery store? Do you want to be somewhere that's more rural and away from people like in Mims or in Miko? We need to figure out what are you looking for? How close do you want to be to neighbors? How close do you want to be to amenities, the beach, and all of that? So a great resource for that is to go check out all my videos or to reach out to me. A lot of times I have people that just give me a laundry list of what they're looking for and I can pinpoint it for them. But if you're like me and like to do some research beforehand, then absolutely go take a deep dive into my YouTube channel because I have videos on almost every single city in the Space Coast. So that will help a lot. Okay, let's talk about some things to focus on that are going to help you. Are you interested in A-rated schools? Are the school ratings super important to you? Are crime levels? I mean, of course, crime levels are important to everyone. So doing a deep dive into those things is super important. I know one of the first questions I get from a lot of clients is, how's the crime? Do you feel safe? How are the schools? And really, as a real estate agent, I'm not allowed to answer that. It's actually super subjective as well. I could say somewhere safe and then 2 days later, my car gets broken into. It is something that I highly suggest doing research on. I put links down in the description below for you to do that research for yourself. You can also call the local police department or sheriff's office to ask them questions about safe areas as well. And then also the websites for schools for ratings. You can also join local community like Nextdoor, Facebook groups, and ask about the schools as well, because there are actually some schools that might be C-rated, but they have amazing programs that tons of my clients and friends prefer those C-rated schools because their programs are so wonderful. So it's really so great to call those schools, talk to other parents, get that insight. Even if you have the chance to come visit and go see the schools as well, that also is super helpful. And just in general, for all A-rated schools across the board, most people are going to be looking at Viera, Florida, Satellite Beach, and Cocoa Beach. And then there's the amenities. Somewhere for like Viera, which is probably 45% of where I sell this year, where I have sold this year is Viera, Florida. It's the newest area, Viera West. It's a master plan community. You can ride a golf cart to drop your kids off to school. That is super popular right now, and it's just amenity packed versus if you want to be a little bit farther away, more rural, places like Titusville, Cocoa West even, or down even in South Palm Bay, Mico, and Grand Valcaria are very rural. So it really depends on what you're looking for in those aspects as well. Definitely go ahead and watch my videos, but also reach out to me so I can help you pinpoint what area is going to work. And of course, if you are relocating for work, that is a big factor as well. A lot of people don't realize they can afford a home that's only 15 minutes away versus driving 40 minutes. You don't have to take that 40-minute commute. You can find something 15 minutes away. Okay, so let's talk about the housing market in the Space Coast. So it's going to be a lot more expensive, of course, as you get closer to the beach. And it actually gets a little bit older too, a little bit more older homes as you get closer to the beach. You can absolutely find a brand new home beachside as well. It's just you're going to be paying for it. If you're looking for something more affordable or bigger, you have a big family, you need a big 6-bedroom home for $500,000, $450,000, then a lot more affordable homes can be inland in places like Melbourne, Palm Bay, Rockledge, Cocoa, Titusville. Merritt Island is a good medium place for that. If you're looking to be close to the beach but not pay beach prices, Merritt Island is also a good place to consider because you are surrounded by 2 rivers, but it's a little bit cheaper than if you're to look in Cocoa Beach. Keep that in mind as you search. You're going to be finding, if you're someone that wants to be close to the beach, you're going to be finding more expensive homes, more expensive insurance. A lot of times I get calls and they're like, hey, can we even get insurance in Florida? And yes, absolutely, you can get insurance in Florida. We would be having a huge housing market crisis in Florida if people couldn't. With that said, it is a lot more expensive and you have to have certain things that your home must have in order to have insurance. So if you're looking at a beachfront home, you're looking at tens of thousands of dollars for insurance. But if you're looking at, a 1990s or even 2010s home or a brand new home in Viera or Melbourne, that's a little bit farther away from the water, it's very affordable. Actually, a lot of people are like, oh wow, that's actually pretty cheap. A lot of the times the insurance can be anywhere from $1,600 to $2,500 in those inland homes. I have a home in Merritt Island, and that is about $3,000 a year. We have a pool, 1970s home. Again, I still think that's reasonable. Affordability is subjective to, where you're coming from, what you're used to, for what your finances look like. So we're actually going to get into cost of living in a little bit, but some key factors to keep in mind that can help with affordability are those HOA fees. You can absolutely avoid HOAs in this area, but there also is a lot of HOA neighborhoods. So there's some that are only $200 a year. There's some that are $200 a month. Just keep that in mind when you're considering where you want to live. Are HOAs going to make a factor in your affordability as well? And then in Florida, contrary to what a lot of people believe, there actually is not that many flood zones in our area. Most of them are close to the rivers and the oceans, but definitely want to avoid those flood zones if you are looking for a more affordable option, because then you have to carry flood insurance if you're purchasing with a loan. Now, with that said, I definitely do recommend getting flood insurance even if you're not in one of those flood zones. And it's actually relatively not too bad expense. We pay about $850 for our home. We're not in a flood zone, but for me, it's peace of mind. It's Florida. So you want to make sure you have good insurance. You want to make sure, depending on where you're living, get the flood insurance, especially if you're in areas like Merritt Island. I can give you the median home prices for the Space Coast, but There are areas like Palm Bay where you can get a lot more affordable home, and then Cocoa Beach where you can get pretty darn expensive homes. So I think one of the best indicators is my sales the past year. I sold about 30 homes to a lot of families relocating like yourself. I sold a small condo for a person who is coming and going a lot for $145,000, and my most expensive sale was $1.5 million on a canal. But with that said, most median and average prices that I'm seeing people that are moving to the area purchasing are going to be anywhere from $450,000 to $700,000. That is kind of where the prices are. And then a big market for a lot of relocation buyers is new construction. About half of my business is with new construction homes. I am an expert in it because I work so much with these builders, and something in a way to save money is definitely through incentives. Now, one thing to know is, for example, Vera Builders, who a lot of my clients move here and work with, they don't offer a lot of incentives. They are now, or they're about to reduce their incentives, so I don't want to put it on video right now, but they are in demand. So they don't necessarily have to offer incentives, but the incentive of purchasing a brand new home, new construction, is, of course, you get to pick out certain things. You get to design your home in some ways, and it's cheaper insurance because it's a brand new home, and you have a lot less maintenance for the first few years because you have everything brand new. Now, with that said, if Vieira, for example, isn't on your radar, you could care less if you're in Vieira. There are Miranda Homes and another in Merritt Island that are offering, one of them is offering $100,000 off the price right now. That's because they're doing closeout deals. So some are paying for all closing costs, some are offering 3.99% interest rates. So there's just lots of great options with buying new construction right now. So definitely something to consider. All right, next thing to know is to prepare for Florida's climate. Like I mentioned earlier, you have year-round sunshine, it's warmer weather, but with that said, some people don't like that. Some people really love the winter time here and not so much the summertime. For me, I don't mind it. I've got a pool. After I'm done showings, I'm jumping in my pool every summer with my dogs, and we're just having a blast. Now, some people do not like that. They stay inside all summer and they do not like it. So just know, if you do not like the hot heat, then you might not like this area. It definitely gets super, super steamy. But one thing that is great about our area in particular is that we have a really great breeze in the summertime. If you fly into Orlando, there's like no breeze in the summer, and it's just like you really feel like you're in a sauna. Versus when you come over, I have clients who drive into the area to come look at homes. They're like, oh, this feels a lot better. It feels cooler, even though it's still the same temperature. We have a nice breeze from the ocean and the rivers. So that helps a lot. And then, of course, we are prone to hurricanes and flooding. For the most part, we have not had any serious issues since I've lived here, or for many, many years. We haven't had any direct hits except Nicole a couple years ago, but it was, I believe, a Cat 1. So it wasn't bad at all. I think one of our fences dropped. We just had the hurricane that ended up being downgraded to a tropical storm this year. Oh, it was Milton. That really devastated the West Coast. That was a little bit scary, I won't lie, because we had just had Helene and we just saw that happen up in North Carolina. And it's just, you know, when you see that stuff happen, you're like, ooh, like, could that happen to us? But overall, Florida's infrastructure is built way better than North Carolina because they were not prone to a devastating storm like that. But with that said, this typically happens where we get hurricanes coming in through the West Coast, and by the time they hit us, it is a tropical storm, and we'll get a lot of high winds. We might get some flooding in the streets, but for the most part, we don't really get homes flooding or serious damage. With that said, and this is what's going to help you with those insurance rates, I have a 1970s home, 1978, but our insurance is relatively affordable for the age of the home and the pool we have and where we're located so close to water. That is because we have a newer roof. Our roof is tied down with what's called clips. We have PVC piping. We have impact windows. You really want to be looking for homes that are going to have what's called coverings on the windows or impact windows. Impact windows are the best, but most homes do not have them. Just having a way to cover up your windows if there's a hurricane with panels or accordion shutters, that's what's really great with helping lowering the insurance costs, are all those things. Okay, let's talk about job opportunities. So most people that I have been helping move into the area are coming for the aerospace or defense or military. So we've got aerospace, we got Blue Origin, SpaceX, Kennedy Space Center, and then there's a few smaller contracting companies that are also helping out in that spectrum in aerospace. So lots of people coming in for that. There's also lots of people coming in for defense. So L3 Harris, Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, those ones are also big contenders. I've helped a few clients in the past couple of years come in for the defense sector, including my husband. And then there's also military PCSing, Air Force, Space Force. We are getting STAR coming into the area in the next few months. I've already talked to one family that's coming in for that. So that is a big, and they actually just closed I believe it was $1 billion deal with a new company. They haven't released who purchased or invested in the space industry, but they are supposed to be bringing 600 jobs that are supposed to bring the medium income into this area up to $90,000. So lots in those industries. And then I have some people trickle in for healthcare. I have helped a lot of pilots as well because it's a great, easy commute to the Orlando airport. So those are kind of the big industries we see. And then of course, there is tourism. We have the cruise ship port in Cape Canaveral, so there's lots of tourism. We have lots of restaurants, hospitality, hotels, so lots of that, as well as healthcare. I've helped a few nurses come into the area and teachers as well. So those are kind of the biggest employment opportunities in the area right now. Let's talk about affordability or cost of living. So a great resource that you can look into is bestplaces.net, and they actually have a calculator for cost of living, and you can compare the current city you live in to Melbourne or other cities in the Space Coast. Melbourne will kind of give you probably the best, or you can do Cocoa Beach if you're looking to live more beachside, Satellite Beach, and so forth. It was more affordable moving down here than it was where we lived in Rhode Island, but I have had some clients move from Georgia, from certain places in Texas where the prices actually were higher here. In certain aspects, the income was higher too, so it helped compensate with that. For us, we found that it was a more affordable, even taxes. Purchasing a home is a lot more affordable price-wise. Groceries are more affordable. Restaurant prices are more affordable than the Northeast. All right, so let's talk about getting to know the Space Coast. So of course, like I mentioned earlier, we have the rocket launches, but there's just so many things to do in the area. There's always an event going on, whether it's at Cocoa Village, Cocoa Beach, O'Galley. We just had all our Christmas events and they're still going on. I have a newsletter that goes out every Saturday morning and it talks about local events happening in all the area, but almost all the cities have some sort of a boat parade. We just had like a Jeep parade for Christmas. So there's just so many fun things going on even throughout the year. Like recently we went to a Mardi Gras celebration and they had a parade, and you had, from adults to kids to people, with their dogs. Like, it's so friendly for anyone to have a good time for all ages, which I absolutely love about living in this area. There's always something to do. And also, of course, we live so close to the beach, or you live on the beach, depending on where you will end up. And so obviously we have all those water sports, surfing, fishing, just going for a swim, hanging out on the beach. From there, you can see the best views of rocket launches. If you love to boat, we also have the rivers, or, you could jet ski, you could do all the, fun river sports, fishing, and so forth. So just so many things to do. It's so funny. Sometimes I get comments like, oh, Brevard County is so boring. It's so funny how different perspectives are, but I just always think there's so many cool things happening. And compared to where I used to live, where it was a tourist town. In the summertime, it was very lively, but in the winter, it was dead. So here, there's just things going on all year, which is great. And it's such a great way to stay active throughout the year as well. You can go out for a walk, go bike riding any time of the year, which is just absolutely amazing. And I absolutely love that part of it. All right, let's talk about planning your move smartly. So you've listened to all this, you've gone and watched all my videos. Maybe you've already reached out to me by now. You shoot me a text message, hey, Rachel, I'm thinking about moving to the area. So let's talk about planning your move so that you're not super stressed. So first thing is to declutter, hold a garage sale. We don't have basements. So if you have a basement, I can already tell you we don't have enough room. No matter how big of a house you get, your garage is gonna be filled with all that stuff. So declutter, get rid of anything you don't need. When we moved here, we actually sold everything and started new. Furniture is definitely more expensive than it was when we had purchased the one from the other house, but new furniture, it worked for our home. The other furniture didn't. So it was fun for me, although not so much for the bank app. But just try to declutter as much and see what you can keep. When you actually make the move, I highly recommend hiring movers. Most people, unless they're military and the government or, their military branch is paying for their move, which is amazing. Most people find that actually getting a U-Haul truck is a lot more affordable nowadays than hiring movers to do the drive for them. So whether you do a pod system, get a truck for yourself to drive, get a trailer to drive, just hire the movers. You can look up on uhaul.com and hire movers, or go on your local Facebook page there, hire them, because trust me, you have more than you think. It's exhausting packing it all up and then having to drive down here. If you are able to just hire the movers and get on a plane and come down here, amazing. But that's definitely one of the biggest things that I hear is just hire the movers. And then I know it is super common. We did it too. We moved here in the summertime. And like I mentioned earlier, it is so hot. For me, I didn't care because I was just so happy to be here. Palm trees, beach, loved it. But in the summertime, it's rough making the move. It's exhausting, it's hot. So if you can plan to move here during the more mild temperatures, anywhere from October to April, you're gonna have a lot better experience with the move. But again, hire those movers and they can do it for you. So if you have to move here in the summertime, I totally understand. I had to do it too, but just a tip when moving to Florida, something to remember. And then let's talk about what to expect when you get here. So you just moved in. So the first thing is to embrace the Florida lifestyle. People are super, super friendly here, despite what you see in some of the comments or on Facebook groups where, you say, hey, I'm moving to the area, and they say, go home, don't New York, my Florida. For the most part, they're transplants themselves, or they're just keyboard warriors. People in general are super friendly. Neighbors always wave to each other, stop to say hello. People at the coffee shop want to hear about your day. So just be prepared if you're coming from a fast-paced area where maybe people aren't so friendly, if there's going to be a little bit of a culture shock there. So I love it. I think it's great, but I did have a little bit of culture shock, I will admit. Some tips are definitely join the local Facebook groups. That's where you can find out about really cool events. That's also where you can find out if a dog is missing, or you can post if you found a dog. But people are generally very friendly on them, despite some of them not being. Just ignore those people. Those are not the majority people living here. And after you get all moved in, just enjoy the lifestyle. So that's all I have for you today. I hope this helped get a little bit of a glimpse on what it is like to live in the Space Coast, what mistakes not to make, where to start as far as doing your research, or just better yet, go ahead and reach out to me. I help people like you every single day move to the area. I absolutely love it. I love living here, and I love helping people move to the area because it's just such a great place to live. So my information is in the screen right here. It's in the description and comment below, because I got your back when it comes to moving to the Space Coast. It's such a great place to live. No matter where you end up, just pick where it works best for you. And that's where it kind of starts, where you can go ahead and do your research. I can tell you're smart if you're already started here. You like to do your research. You were like me when I moved here, but also just reach out, because I'm really great in my team at helping you pinpoint exactly where you should end up. I definitely highly recommend come and visit the area. Even if you come and visit the area 6 months before you plan on purchasing a home and you're not able to make it here during the finding the property, at least come check it out. Check out the areas. I will give you a guide to go drive around, check it out, and then we can pinpoint where works for you, so that if you're not able to be here when you find the home you love, I can go ahead and do virtual tours, sniff it out for you. Like literally, some houses smell bad, and I will tell you. And we'll make it work for you. So make sure you reach out. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to click the like button and hit subscribe so you can see more videos like this in the future. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Rachel Langley, and I'll see you on the next one.